AoC Meeting number 8. Let's not waste any time getting into this one. So you guys asked for Willo buffs quite a bit after the last meeting. That made me realize that Willo hasn't been picked in PPL this season, not once. I then looked into who else hasn't been picked. Terminus and Lex, who are banned because of bugs, so they don't really count. Koga and Sky, 2 characters they've messed with recently, and when they mess with characters, they don't want to touch them again until they settle into the meta properly. Then of course, Willo and Talus. Now I think having 35 different characters picked in the pro scene is really impressive, but that number can always increase. And Willo and Talus are the ones out of that list that I can get something done about balance-wise. It's a win-win. Get them buffed and maybe they'll see play in the pro scene. And those of you that ask for buffs for these characters can be satisfied. Now, I don't think either Willo or Talus are bad. I think they're super slept on PC at least. Talus on console is a different story. I'll talk about Talus first. He apparently has like a 68% win rate in the Paladins console league. That makes sense, aim assist is really powerful on him. He's also small and fast. That's always been a good formula for a very powerful console character. This was one of the reasons I wasn't looking for any major buffs. Mainly fixes to his punch and increased health or a health card, since that's what the pros I talked to wanted. They are looking into his punch inconsistencies and they do want to give him a health card rather than a base health increase. He used to have DR on inner strength as well as his guts card, and the DR on inner strength was removed, so he no longer has stackable DR. So the option to increase his health could definitely help him out. Now for Willo. So Willo is a character who's super scary to buff. Willo can easily become a monster if buffed in the wrong way. The weakest thing about her is definitely her ultimate. A lot of you call it a push to die button, and I told them you guys call it that. I did also tell them that many of you say Worm Drogos is basically better than Willow's ult. So they are looking to buff up the ultimate. They're gonna make it so you can cancel her ult, and they're possibly going to increase its speed. They want to pay extra attention to the upward acceleration of the ult. They also want to make it charge faster so you can have it up more often. This was something that was nerfed in the past, but that was back when there were less hit scan to kill her in her ult. Having it up more often now and having it be cancelable could allow for some interesting plays to be made with her ultimate. So yeah, a few ult buffs in the future. That's really good, was really excited to hear about that. I also talked about upping her base damage and nerfing Blast Flower to balance it out. This way, her base damage isn't so low when using her other talents. This isn't off the board, but they want to see how the ult buffs play out first. Again, they're worried about over-buffing her. Flutter getting 2 charges was also brought up. I know I've seen this one asked for a lot, so I'm not surprised it came up. It would be OP though when you consider Willo has movement speed and DR after Flutter cards, so with 2 charges they could stack. Also, some of you may remember, I did talk about Koga in the last meeting. Again, they want him to settle after his nerf before they really mess with him, but they did look into his ult charge rate like I asked. We all know it's lower than other flanks, but can you believe it was 40% lower than all of them? Wow! They are buffing it by 40% so it's in line with the other flanks. They're also taking the 15% off of Blood Reaper and making it so Blood Reaper also increases the ult's movement speed. This is kinda cool. Definitely makes it harder for people to get out of it. But I'm still kinda leaning to the talent not getting picked. We'll see though. If it still doesn't get picked, I'm gonna attempt to get the talent replaced again. Other characters were talked about. Lian is a big talking point right now. People want more nerfs to Lian, like damage nerfs. Now personally, I don't really agree with the people who say the last nerf did nothing at all. That's definitely a big stretch. It definitely did make an impact on her. They don't want to layer nerfs onto a character, especially one that in reality underperforms, because that is a good way to kill them, and I agree personally. Whenever they layer nerfs onto something, it ends up dying, and nothing should ever end up dying. So they don't want to mess with her really. I know damage nerfs are something you guys bring up a lot. Lian's power comes from her weapon, everything she does is a weapon attack. If you nerf the only thing she has, that could hurt her a lot. Now, what they do want to do is look into messing with her ultimate in the long term. It's a very safe ultimate, and a big source of frustration. Now, when I personally die to Lian ult, I normally feel like it's because I took the fight wrong, unless I get hit around a wall. But the way they want to nerf it is something I'm definitely not against. Instead of having damage immunity, they want to look into possibly giving the ult heavy DR instead. So if Lian ult's at low health, you can still kill her. But if Lian ult's at high health, being stuck in one spot during the ult won't get her flat out killed. Again, this is a long-term thing, nothing that'll happen soon. A follow-up on the Ying weapon buffs. What they're looking to do is reduce her fall-off, since it is really severe. And they also want to add 50 more damage to Focusing Lens, so it will remain a talent for now. But the base weapon, of course, is receiving a buff. Definitely something I'm eager to try out. Other characters were talked about, but nothing really came out of those conversations, so I'll leave those out. The beam indicator for Solar Blessing was brought up again though, and they'll look into doing something like that. Torvald. Oh, I know a lot of you ask about Torvald. Their stance on Torvald is the same as when I first asked them about Torvald back when I joined the AoC. He's good, seen frequently in pro play, picked or banned. He does only do one thing, and nerfing that one thing would probably hurt him quite a bit. Again, messing with him isn't off the board. But right now they want to leave him as is, and I get why. Making him more fun and engaging while also not making him a bubble bot, and still keeping him as a good character, isn't the easiest task, and I imagine it would probably take a lot of time and reworks. Hopefully in the future we can get a better version of Torvald, but for right now he's going to remain as is. As far as why his barrier siphon went away back in the day, it didn't quite make sense. Front lines couldn't do the thing they were supposed to because old Torvald was countering them from the very start of the game. It's a lot like removing early game Wrecker and Cauterize. Now before somebody brings up Dead Zone, you can walk out of it. You can't walk out of a Torvald siphoning a barrier. Either the barrier is stationary or you're slowed while holding it up. It was a really cool mechanic though, I get why it's gone, but I still kinda miss it. There's this Talus and Buck bug, where they activate Overcharge or Buck Wild with no ammo, and they're stuck reloading. There's also the Talus bug where if you activate it with no ammo, you'll fire blanks with super high recoil because the game thinks you're reloading. They're gonna look into both of these. That's it for characters. Last meeting, progression was a topic, and this meeting it was again. Then after this meeting, Creepers made a video about progression and stuff, and it became an even bigger community topic. Keep in mind, this meeting was again before that video, but what they said was, to put it simply, they won't be doing more progression systems. They have a lot of them, and it's not worth the time spent on those versus polishing or improving the game in other places. They have quests, challenges, the battle pass, mastery levels. There's tons of stuff to show off in the game right now. There is also gold and diamond boxes for leveling up. As far as adding more to the mastery levels, it would be really cool to add more interesting mastery stuff, but time spent on that without any kind of monetary return is a big yikes for a free-to-play game. Very easy to lose money by doing that, and losing money could of course mean losing the game in the long run. I personally understand wanting more, I definitely personally want more as well, but I do understand it isn't always feasible for them to do. There's only so much free stuff they can make for a free-to-play game. If they were a $60 title, you'd probably see lots of that stuff. Again, what do you take time away from to do this? How much money do you give up to do this? Those are big things, guys. However, some of the smaller stuff like avatars or sprays, stuff that's relatively easy to make and doesn't cost them too much, are definitely things they could look into. Like, you won't see any shatter weapons or other tiers of skins, but small stuff like that is possible. Maybe some of you play Smite and you'll ask why they can do it when they're also a free-to-play game. Well, production on skins in Paladins is way more expensive than it is in Smite. I also want to point this out. You did see in this update that the Battle Pass comes with a recolor for every skin. That is something that's going to continue with Battle Passes going forward. I will say though that if this continues to be a big thing that the community wants, they'll definitely have to find some compromise to satisfy that desire. An honor system was brought up. This is something they'd love to do, but it's not something you'll see soon. It's more of a long-term possibility. We also talked about what went wrong with the Steel Forged update, because it definitely wasn't a smooth launch. Zenon did a Reddit post about this though, so I'll go ahead and link that down below in the description for you guys to click on if you want an explanation. I brought up shatter weapons a second ago. That was a meeting topic actually. Weapon skins returning in general was. They went away from making separate weapon skins because full skins do better, and they're going to keep focusing on full skins. It is unlikely that they'll make more weapon skins. Talking about skins, I do have some skin info to share. We saw a lot of skins. I can't give specific details on most of it, but there are some possible skin ideas that were talked about for the future that I can tell you about. So Abyssal Furia, you guys may have seen that concept. That is 100% coming. They're also looking into doing more Echo characters, like Pepper. At some point in the future, they want to make a Mystic Defenders line. You know, like magical girl stuff, I guess. Smite has something like that, and they want to do something similar. Now, Eevee skin. So, can't give too many details here. I asked when it was coming because there's been this really big Eevee skin movement, and a lot of really cool fan art relating to it. So they plan skins well in advance. I have seen most of the skins coming this year. I feel like there's only 1 or 2 skin sets I probably haven't seen yet. Eevee isn't something that can happen this year. I know that's probably super disappointing. I was disappointed too, still am. When they finally do make an Eevee skin though, I have no doubts they're gonna go all out with it. They are thinking of some possible concepts. I can't really tell you what they are though. Don't want to spoil the surprise. I did end up showing them a Eevee fan skin concept by Llama Bear though. I'll link her Twitter below if you want to see more of her stuff. It's all really good. But yeah, this skin is really cute. You guys see this? I would love this. They also really loved the idea when I showed them too. Great job, Llama. I am attempting to see if they'll put out Eevee's gold skin this year, so you guys at least get something for Eevee. Still awaiting the details on that though. I know a lot of you guys ask why they don't pump out gold skins because they're only recolors. They take way more work than it seems, guys. Stuff in game development basically always does. I have said it a few times now, but perception often doesn't match reality. Anyway though, that's the meeting. I feel like something is missing though. Something you guys really want to know about and you're wondering when it's coming. Or maybe it's nothing. Yeah, probably nothing. And that's pretty much it, guys. I want to thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate it, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.